Hi everyone! Today you're going to practice your persuasive writing skills by finding your topic on the subreddit Change My View. On Canvas, there's an assignment called Friday 4-3 Change My View Reddit Activity. I'm going to explain this activity first, then show you the subreddit that you're going to use for the assignment. If you're not familiar with Reddit's Change My View subreddit, it's a page that contains posts by people who hold a certain position on a variety of social and political issues. Each original post presents an argument and explanation, and then other people respond with different types of arguments and evidence in an attempt to sway the original poster's mind. When you go to the page, I want you to be aware that the threads cover a number of topics that may be controversial and sensitive, so just be aware of that as you're starting to work. To access the subreddit, click on the link posted on the Friday 4-3 Change My View Reddit activity, or simply Google it. Once you're on the subreddit, select a post that relates to your chosen topic of study for this semester. For example, if my issue this semester is over the ethics of being vegan, that's the topic I'm going to look for on the subreddit. Make sure that you don't choose a post about a film or a TV show, even if they talk about your issue. While these threads are fun, you won't be able to answer all of the questions for the assignment that I'm looking for. You need to read the original post and then go through the thread and read, roughly 7 to 10 responses, and then use direct quotes from the thread to provide the following information and answer the questions for the assignment today. There are 2 parts to this assignment. Here are the instructions for part 1. First, you need to name and describe the issue being discussed in your chosen thread. Who is affected by this issue? I want you to make a list of possible stakeholders. Then, you need to identify which stasis point the OP or original poster seems to be arguing from. How do you know this? Provide textual evidence from the OP to support your claim. Then, identify what values might inform this argument. Next, you need to identify some comments that are responding to the OP from a different point of stasis. In other words, who has missed the mark? How do you know? Make sure that you're using textual evidence, again, quoting here, to support your claim. What other types of rhetorical choices does this poster make? So I want you to think about, are they using logos, pathos, ethos? Maybe they're using sentence structure, something like that, to try and make their argument. What might be the effects of these choices on the OP? So if I'm trying to use ethos to persuade someone, what's the effect of that on the original poster? Then identify a commenter who seems to respond to the OP in stasis. Keep in mind that this means that they're approaching the issue from the same point of stasis, not that they're in agreement. Again, how do you know this? Make sure that you provide evidence from the thread. What other types of rhetorical choices does this poster make? So think about logos, pathos, ethos, any of the tropes that you might have identified as you were learning about them in the reading from earlier this week. Finally, I want to know what might be the effects of these choices on the OP. For part 2 of this activity, I want you to write at least 150 words to answer the following question. How does this activity help you think about the choices you must make for project 3? Make sure that you complete this assignment and post it by 11:59 p.m. tonight. Now I'm going to walk you through what you're looking at when you actually go to the subreddit and start to do this assignment. So first things first, you need to head over to Reddit. Again, you can Google Reddit Change My View. You can click on the assignment in Canvas, or you can do what I did, which is just type it into the address bar. Once you're there, you'll see the homepage that has all of the Change My View threads. Remember that I want you to focus on your topic specifically. So as fun as it is to view all these threads, kind of start to move towards searching for your content. You can do this by going to the search bar and typing in your term. So I typed in veganism. This brings up all of veganism topics on Reddit, but I can go to change my view specifically and view threads that only come there if I click on the change my view, which is where you see my mouse right now. Here I've got all of the change my view veganism Reddits, so I just took a minute to scroll through and see what's going on there and see if there's anything I want to click on. So a couple of these things look kind of interesting. I'm going to go to becoming a vegan will have no impact on animal product industry and see what's going on there. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to read the original poster's post here. And then remember, I'm going to decide what point of stasis they're arguing from and make sure I put that in my post. Then I'm going to go through and I want to read roughly 7 to 10 comments just to kind of get a feel. As you can see, a couple of comments here are super long, so you might find some really good stuff early on in the post, but you might have to skim through to find some good content that you can analyze and decide if the statement is in stasis or out of stasis with the original poster. So after you've done that, you'll be able to read the comments and answer all of the questions that I've asked you to address in this discussion board post. After you complete the Reddit activity, you'll need to focus on writing Project 3. On Monday, you'll be assigned one person's 50% draft to peer review. Here are the requirements for your 50% draft. You can find them posted on the Monday 4/6 Project 3 50% draft assignment. This is where you'll submit your draft as well as where you'll complete the peer review on Monday. Notice here on the video as well as on the assignment on Canvas, I've listed the point value for each of these bullet points so that you know exactly how much everything is worth and what I'm looking for. So for your 50% draft, I need you to submit your paper by our normal class time. This is really important so that you can be assigned someone's 50% draft to peer review. You also need to revise your introductory paragraph based off of the feedback you received last week. Also, don't forget to revise your works cited based off of this feedback as well. So check out the feedback that was posted on the Wednesday 4/1 P3 intro paragraph and works cited peer review assignment. You have feedback from a peer as well as from me there that you need to incorporate into your 50% draft. Next, you need to think about your body paragraphs. For each body paragraph, I want you to include the transition into that body paragraph. This means that you should have a transitional word or phrase to start each paragraph, even if you're not writing that whole paragraph or the whole paper. I'm really emphasizing this in this draft because transitional words and phrases were something that people were missing consistently in projects 1 and 2. So we want to make sure that we address this in our 50% draft rather than waiting until you're working on the final draft to add those things. For each body paragraph, you also need to include the research and evidence that you're going to use in your paper. Even if this means that some paragraphs are just a list of quotes, that's totally fine. What I'm looking for here is to see that you have research and evidence that you're going to use to make your successful argument. Remember that this is an academic paper, so I really do expect that you're using research and evidence in every single paragraph. You need to make sure that you format according to MLA. If you have any formatting questions, let me know, but I feel pretty confident that y'all know how to do that. You also need to make sure you're citing all of your sources. Don't put a note to yourself to make your citation afterwards. I want you to include your citations in the 50% draft so that you don't forget to do this later on. Remember that I need to have at least 750 words for your 50% draft and that this excludes your heading and your works cited page. This is half of the word count for the assignment, and it's really important that you meet this halfway point for your draft. You should include your word count after your last paragraph to make it easy for me to identify that you have the 750 words. You can write the whole paper if you want, but all I'm asking for this draft is that 750. Finally, you need to provide feedback for your assigned peer review by 11:59 p.m. This is only worth 5 points, but I really want to emphasize the value of peer review here. And y'all have been doing this all semester, so I know that you know how good peer review can be. So make sure that you submit that feedback for the assigned draft by 11:59 p.m. The peer review instructions for Monday are going to be posted on the Monday 4/6 Project 3 50% peer review instructions page. So you'll be able to see those there on Monday when you go to peer review this paper. If you have any questions about this assignment, please make sure to email me. I know I say this like every single video, but I really am happy to help you electronically with your writing and talk to you about what's going on in your paper. I hope that you have a great weekend and that you have a good time writing your projects, and I will talk to you all soon.